CEO Ronnie from Create a Difference. We're going to do a nice test for you guys today. We're going to take a reactive ball at 2,000 grit and a urethane ball at 2,000 grit, and we're going to bowl 3 games and get some specto data. So this is going to be kind of fun. We're going to learn about how surface changes on bowling balls when you're throwing them down a lane, as well as, well, what urethane does to the actual lane. Stay tuned. I have a urethane ball. It's sanded at 2,000 grit, as you can see here. I also have a reactive ball that is also sanded at 2,000 grit, as you can see here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these bowling balls and we're gonna bowl on a fresh lane condition. I'm left-handed, Dustin's right-handed. We're gonna see what the lane does to the, well, what the bowling balls do to the lane first. And then not only that, we're gonna use specto to actually track some of the shots that we throw, so we can actually educate people on what urethane does to the lane, what reactive does to the lane, and how the surface changes along the lane. Stay tuned. I'm gonna throw a reactive ball on this fresh Athens, no, not Athens, the pattern is Beijing. I'm gonna throw a reactive ball on this fresh Beijing pattern. Dustin's gonna throw an old school urethane ball on the Beijing pattern. We're gonna bowl 3 games. We're gonna check the surface of the bowling balls as we bowl. We're also gonna have the lanes taped when we're done to see how much change actually happens when you're bowling with the urethane ball versus the reactive ball on the same lane pattern.
Yep.
All right. Condition of the lane after we're done.
Okay, look at this. See that? True Cut scuff mark remover would get rid of that. Show some perspective there. So you can see the difference in those 2 shots. The red one is the second one that I threw. Obviously hooked a whole lot more than the first one. Which wasn't good. Actually, less than the first one. There's Dustin. Whee! Woody. Let's show Dustin shot again. Oh, he's got the head pin still too. This is going to be good because we're going to be able to get a lot of data to see exactly how the lane changes. We're going to wipe our ball up every shot. We'll be able to see how the old 1 game. You can see the bowling balls here. Definitely the white quantum is no longer white. I'm going to wipe it off a little bit. We're going to do a little scan just kind of see what the surface of the bowling ball is now. First started at 2,000 grit. Now we're basically 4,500. On the urethane ball, we got to wipe the oil off of it as well. And it's 3,000. Yeah, it's about 3,000 grit, 3,500. Okay. So there's a difference between the 2 bowling balls. The reactive ball has shined up much faster than the urethane ball with just bowling 1 game. You actually see the game over there. We're going to bowl 2 more games, and then we're going to check after every game as well to see kind of how it changes. And not only that, but how the relationship to the lane actually checks, or the tape to see how the balls move around. Okay, so now we bowled 2 games. We're going to scan the balls to see kind of what the surface has changed still on these bowling balls. Definitely, it's just kind of staying at that 4,500 to 5,000. So I would say this ball is probably right at 5,000. Get the blue hammer here. It was at 3 last time. 3,500. Yeah, so still about 3,500 on that ball. So basically, the blue hammer is not changing a whole lot. Just a little bit more, whereas the quantum has definitely moved up to the 5,000 range, so it's definitely moved up some more. But now there's a little bit of difference between the 2 balls. After 2 games, we're going to bowl 1 more game and do another scan. Okay, we bowled 3 games. Balls are as they are going to be finished now. We're going to wipe them off and do a little more scan. One more scan at least. Ball was at 5,000 last time, and it's going to stay right about that 5,000 grit number. So all right, that's 5,000. This ball started out at 2. It got to like 3,500, I think, last time. And now it's right about 4. Yeah, so it's right about 4 now. So that's the surface change. You can expect different degrees of surface change from a urethane ball to a reactive ball. That's primarily because the surface, the actual surface is very, very different technologies. The urethane ball is much more durable. It's going to be able to last a little bit longer, whereas the reactive ball is much more softer, for lack of a better word. And it's going to be a little bit easier for it to change the surface with the bowling. CEO Ron Lakeman from Creative Difference. I want to talk to you about a test that me and Dustin did. He's right-handed, I'm left-handed. I threw a reactive ball, he threw a urethane ball, both at 2,000 grit, and we captured some data on specto. And one of the interesting things, and I'm going to let Dustin talk a little bit about it as well, but one of the things that I saw from being able to throw the ball on specto and just kind of watch the reaction was that I had a little bit of miss room to the outside part of the lane. So when I missed a little bit left, because there was some still friction down lane, my ball would recover and come back. Whereas if I missed a little bit in, the ball would kind of take off. What's interesting is we bowled 3 games, and as those 3 games happened, I began to develop a slot in that area. So if I kind of hit in the area in the wrong part of the lane, wrong part of time, the ball would actually begin to really read that hard or not read it at all, which would make my score a little bit more inconsistent because I wasn't able to get a good, consistent reaction. Dustin, what did you see when you were bowling with the urethane ball?
So when we were starting, I felt like I had a pretty decent ball reaction. After the first 6 frames or so, I really noticed it started to go away. My ball reaction would just not hook. So as that happened, I would migrate a little more to the right, try to keep my angles more square, and I would actually really try to get the ball into a roll. My last game, I only struck 3 times. That's just because I couldn't get anything to face up down lane with the urethane ball. But if you see here, this is where I was at. I was pretty close throughout the entire game. You'll notice down here, I missed the head pin quite a bit. That's just a fact of the urethane ball not performing as I wanted it to. If I was bowling on this myself in a tournament, I would really make sure that I had a reactive ball on the rack and not a urethane ball.
Yeah, I think that's a good takeaway, is because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you use the bowling ball that's going to give you the most amount of room and the best chance to be able to strike. In this particular case, we're bowling on a 39-foot pattern. Some guys may go, well, I'm going to grab my urethane ball, but that's not going to give you the best chance to be able to strike. In this case, a reactive ball probably is the ball of choice for the majority of the type of people that are going to be bowling on this type of pattern. I want to talk to you a little bit about the lane tape data that you're seeing here. So the first thing is you have to notice that the left-hand side represents the left-hand side of the lane, which is where the reactive ball was thrown. And the right-hand side represents the right-hand side of the lane, which is where the urethane ball was thrown. Now, the red line that you see is our initial tape. This is what would be considered the fresh. And then the line just below that, the orange line, would be considered the burn on the lane at a distance of 14 feet. Now, looking at the yellow line is also considered fresh, and it is at 37 feet, or 2 feet before the end of the pattern. And then the green line that you see here is also at 37 feet, but it is the burn. So this is after the bowling is complete. So you can see there is a little bit of difference between the before and the after. So let's go back to the top 2 lines. The red line, left-hand side, right around that 10 board area, you can see that the red line is fairly high, whereas the orange line, after bowling has been done, has been lowered. So the oil level has depleted because it's a reactive ball. Jump down a little bit. The yellow line and the green line are a little bit different as well, with the yellow being fresh, the green being burn, a little bit of also of oil depletion with the reactive ball. Now, switch sides. Let's go to the right side of the graph, right? So the red line and the orange line are relatively close, but there's still a little bit of depletion there, right? You can see that the red line is a little bit higher, especially around that 10 board area compared to the 10 board area in the orange. But when you go look at 37 feet, big difference. So the yellow line, which is the fresh, and the green line, which is the burn, there's actually more volume in that 8 to 10 or 8 to 6 board area, which would indicate that there actually was oil pushed down the lane, which makes sense considering that it was a urethane ball that was bowled on that side of the lane. So this gives you a little bit of insight as to what actually happens when you're throwing a urethane ball, a la the right side. The oil actually pushes down the lane, compared to a reactive ball on the left side, where it's just kind of depletion on both portions of the lane, the front and the burn. So now you have a little bit more insight, and this is also why it's important to know if you're bowling on a pair with the guy who's using urethane or people that are using urethane, you may need to make some adjustments that may be different than what you're used to when people are using reactive balls. If you have more questions or need more information, make sure you check us out at ctdbowling.com. Ronald Hicklin, CEO from Creating the Difference. Have a great day.